What's up, folks? Sean, the Average Angler, and we are here today to do video number 3 in the fall series. And this is one that you just gotta have, right? Gotta have. If you don't know how to fish the bait, you need to learn how to fish it, because this will really put the fish in the boat and help you cover water and not waste time in locating fish. Now, as typical, we're gonna go through some rods first. And this one is not going to be any surprise, okay? It's a good reason I'm going to have to order more of these, because we use this for multiple baits, and that's the Irod Quercus 733V, same rod that I'm using for the chatterbaits, okay? 733V, 7'3", 3 power. So it's got a good tip. When it hits the backbone, it's got plenty of backbone, okay? Going to help you keep those fish hooked up on treble hook baits, as well as the single hook. The alternate rod for the secondary pattern we're going to talk about with this bait. This one's at the $149 price point. It is the Irod Gen 3 764, okay? Quickly becoming one of my do-all rods. As you can see, it's got a Chopo on there right now, 20-pound fluorocarbon. So not the best one for the Chopo, but hey, I'm burning it anyway. And there's some other ones you can use. These are the two, 7'3", medium heavy, and 764 heavy, okay? 733 I'm going to use in the first technique we talk about. The 764 would be the second technique we're going to talk about here. All right, so what are we talking about? We are fishing lipless crankbaits, okay? Choice number 1 is going to be the LV500. The alternate, the Jackall TN70 and TN60. This is the 70. Whoops, I got the hooks there. They're similar in size. If I can get these out of my fingers. Lengthwise, if you can see that, they're similar in size. Okay, the shape's a little bit different. The sound is different. Little different pitch. Okay, now this time of year when you do get on a school, it's a good idea to have a variety of baits. Different brands, different colors, just so you can kind of mix it up when they stop eating one. Switch it up. Go after them again. The other thing you can do that I like to do, that I talked about in my crankbait video, is occasionally throw in that craw pattern, okay? Oftentimes the biggest fish will eat the craw pattern. This is our third bait. It's a Spro Essentials Aruku Shad. This bait, again, sounds a little different, but this bait stands up on the bottom. We'll get to that in a minute. All right, pattern. Look, we're going to start out fishing this bait moving. So chunk and wind, okay? The other thing you could mix into that is work the bait with your rod. So lift up, reel a slack, lift up, reel a slack. And this is keeping it off the bottom. We're just gonna have it do this through the water column, or you can just retrieve and do every once in a while, do a little twitch, much like we were doing with the chatterbait. All right, that is to locate fish. Once you locate fish, that's a good time to hunker down, hit your spot lock, power pole down, depending on how deep you're sitting in the boat, and we are going to start yo-yoing the bait. Okay, I don't know if you can see this LV, it's kind of beat up in the nose area. That's because I was yo-yoing this bait. One thing to keep in mind, folks, when you are yo-yoing these baits and letting them sit on the bottom, make sure you have spare hooks and a good set of split ring pliers, because you will need to change hooks. That, or keep an eye on your hooks and retie and replace the bait, and then maybe when you go in at night, then replace the hooks. But I'm going to go with shad patterns mostly. We're going to cast it out there past the school, let it hit bottom. We're going to pick it up, let it fall down. You're going to need to find a cadence that the fish want. Most of the time, they're going to hit it after you pick it up and it starts to fall. I've also seen times when you can shake the bait. Just shake your rod tip. It'll make it rattle. Man, sometimes they'll crush that thing on the bottom. Okay? That's a bonus alternate technique you can throw into this one. As the school stops biting, again, we can try another one, such as the TN70. We can try the Aruku shad. We can try a craw pattern bait. Most of the fish, like I said, are going to stick with a shad bait fish type color. On occasion, and I've had this happen many, many times, when I go to the craw pattern, I will catch the biggest fish out of the school that I catch from there. Just a good feather to keep in your cap, okay? Something to try. All right. So that's locating the fish. And then when we have found the fish, and these are on hard spots. Creek mouths, Clear Lake marina mouths, those kinds of things where there's not a lot of grass. It's mostly hard bottom. Somewhere where the fish are corralling the bait. All right, the next one, dying grass. And this is when I'm going to pick up that 764 Irod, and I'm going to throw it with braid or braid to leader. Reason for that is because we're going to be ripping it out of the grass. Now, this is probably not the best time for the bigger Aruku shad, but you could go, and it depends on how thick the grass is. If the grass is thicker and the bait will sit on top, then that might be a good time for this. But I would go to a 65, the TN70, LB 500, or you can also try some of the alternatives of this, the TN60, the LB 200 or 300. Also, you could try some 1-Nox. This one here is a Jackall knockoff, and it has literally 2 big balls in it, like a 1-knocker, except there's 2 of them. Great alternative, okay? I use these more for striper fishing, which I'll put out some videos when I get out there and do that. I might go do it this weekend, I'm not sure. All right, so we got the longer rod. It helps to have live scope here. Otherwise, you're going to have to make a few casts and figure it out. And that is, how tall is the grass? And then we can determine what size bait to use or weight of bait to use. Either way, we're going to fish it the same once we've determined that. We're going to throw it into the grass. We're going to slowly reel. You want to hit it. You want to hit the grass. And when that bait hangs up, you can do one of 2 things. And again, this is you need to figure out which way the fish want it. You can let it hang for a minute, shake it a little bit, and then rip it. Or you can just rip it. Most of the time when you rip the bait free, the fish will then react, come after it, and pow, they crush it. The braid helps us, with no stretch, pull it off some of that really sticky grass. If it's not sticky grass, you can probably get away with fluorocarbon, but depending on how long of a cast you're making, this is a good time to use braid or braid to leader. All right, now, when you get on these fish, it's fall. They've corralled bait, the fish are feeding up. There's usually a big group of them, and you can sit on them and catch them for quite a while. Because I just drew a blank. Amazing. All right, folks, weather, because it is fall. These fish are going to stay on the bait. They're going to keep it corralled. Fish will keep coming up and schooling and staying on this bait throughout the fall transition. What I've found usually triggers the change where, boom, they're gone, and I mean they're gone overnight, is the first freezing temperatures. So if you wake up one morning and you've got ice on the boat, ice on the dock, guess what? Most likely they're going to be gone. There may be some strays up there, but the last few years I've seen this happen, I mean, boom, they're gone. They're gone from that 4 to 6 foot, and they are now out there in 20 some odd feet. Depending on your body of water, they could be shallow or they could be deeper, but they're going to get out there and get off of a drop off and hang out there, and guess who's going with them? The bait's going right out there too. Rattle baits are awesome. Lipless rattle baits are awesome. These are the 3 that I have found the most success with this time of year. The LV500, the TN70 and TN60, and then the Spro Essentials, Aruku Shad 65 and 75. This is the 75. The cool thing about it, it's essentially the same weight as the others, but it's much bigger. Again, we're talking offering variety. There you can see it, okay? It still is not a giant bait. The hooks are sharp. All right, folks. Sean the Average Angler, thanks for watching. We're going to have an episode next week where we're going to talk about where those fish went and then how I present and what I present to them to catch them again. All right? Thanks for watching. If you like the content, like, subscribe. We're going to see you on the next one.